All right, welcome back. So today we're looking at integers and using if statements, but in this case we're going to actually take two integers and use one if statement for these to kind of check to see if both of them are within a given range, or at least one of them is within the range. Okay, so in this particular case we have two integers, and previously in a video we talked about using just one. So we can do like num1 is less than 25 and greater than 0. And these can be flipped. I probably should have done if num1 is greater than 0 and less than 25. That would enter the if statement. But you can add on to this. And so if you wanted to do this all in one if to check to see if both are in this or not, you could do that. And you could just say, oops, sorry. So if num1 is less than 25 and num1 is greater than 0 and num2 is greater than 0 and num2 is less than 25. So we're kind of checking to see if both of them are within that range. We could do this. And to set this up better, we probably should have an else if here and then the else saying if as another option in case none of them are within the range. But in this case we're just going to kind of stick with this so we can look at just this if statement right here. Okay, so if we run this, what will happen, hopefully, unless I didn't make a mistake, so let's say we have 20 and the other number is 15. So in this case num1 is 20, so that should be less than 25 and greater than 0. And 15 should be greater than 0 and less than 25. So in this case, we should enter this if statement and go in to say both are within the range. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Both are within the range. Okay, now the one problem with my logic here is if I run this again and let's say both numbers are not within the range, well then that's gonna not, let's say 26, both of them are outside the range. It's gonna say at least one is not within the range. And in that case, I mean, we're not wrong here, at least one is not within the range, but in this case, both are not within the range. So I could add an else if here and then have an else to saying that both are not, but we're really just kind of focusing on this particular if statement anyways. So, all right, so that's kind of how you work with these. And the ands are incredibly useful if you're doing ranges, trying to find a number within a certain parameters. And then also, you can do something like this where you can combine them together. And we could actually do something like this instead of an and. We could do an or. Okay, so we could say that, num1, if it's less than 25, greater than 0. So I could run that, and the or changes this quite a bit. Because let's say, if I were to do 24 and do 26, now this statement is gonna be wrong now. So I should probably say this entered the if. Okay. So one of these, see how this one's 24, so this is less than 25, will enter this. But this one is not. But yet it will enter this if because either one of these, so long as one of these matches, so long as if this one's correct or this one's correct, then it will enter that if. And so if I go here, and it says both are within the range, and it loaded my text from previously. If I were to do that again, and do 24, 26, this entered the if. Okay, so you could use or here or as well. Does not work well in this particular situation, but it could be a different way too. Let me get rid of this or just to go back. Okay, but that's kind of how you can actually have it check two different numbers, and you could have this do many numbers. You could just keep adding on to this, but you'd probably want to use an else if here as well, so you could do a second set of logic statements down here to check that. All right, hopefully that helps you. Good luck with your coding.